Welcome to our study called Separate Ways, and we're looking at Genesis 13, 1 through 18. Now, when we looked at the end of chapter 11, we saw that Moses gave us a list of characters that would be pivotal in the stories that would be coming up later on. Abram, of course, was there, but he also had the mention of his nephew Lot. Abram was to leave his family behind when he departed from Ur, but Lot continued to tag along with his uncle. We saw that God separated Abram from one of his brothers, Haran, while he was still living in Ur. The guy died. And then he travels to Haran, north of Canaan, and he has to leave behind his other brother in Ur. So he separated himself. God separated him from his first brother. He moves away from his other brother. And now he's traveling to just north of Canaan, and that's where his father dies. So Abraham had one relation left with him, traveling with him, and that was his nephew Lot. So when we read of the separation, and that's what we read in this passage, is that the separation finally comes to completion. He's finally left all of his family behind, just like God commanded him back at the beginning of his story here. So in chapter 12, we heard the blessings of God. And then we saw Abram go through a test that directly challenged those promises, those blessings that God gave him. Abram faltered in his trust. He wasn't 100% there. But God remained faithful to him. So like all followers of God, there are times of great confidence in the Lord, and there's times when there's cowardice and failure. In both cases, God uses what happens for His glory, and according to Romans 8, for the good of the believer too. We last left Abram being rebuked by the Pharaoh, and graciously and respectfully kicked out of Egypt. Where did Abram go? Where would he go after that? What would he do? I mean, what are you going to do now? Would he place his faith in God, or would he fall away? Would he do whatever he wanted to do? These are the questions that are answered in this text. This is really a tale of two believers in God who have two very different outcomes in life. Abram, who becomes the friend of God, and Lot, who is, as Peter tells us, a righteous man. They make two very different choices. What sets these men apart? Well, keep this in mind as we walk through the details of this story, and we'll see what made these two guys have two different outcomes. What happened in their lives that they, even though they were both righteous, the Bible tells us, they had two very different outcomes in their lives. Why is that, and how might that apply to our lives too?